Sir Bobby Robson was a national treasure. He took England further than any other manager on foreign soil, to the brink of a World Cup final at Italia 90. Only Sir Alf Ramsey could claim to have done better in the tracksuit of England. And in club management, Robson's record bears comparison with the best. Certainly no British manager has won more abroad. But alongside the cups, it was Sir Bobby's humour and his humility that won him a place in the nation's heart.
He'd laugh at himself, he'd laugh with the lads. He was good fun to be with. Some of the times he didn't mean to be funny. He forgot people's names, as he was well known to do.
The big thing was he was a football man, loved the game, understood the game, and the way he put it across as a coach, when you're a player in that dressing room, you want to be told simply and concisely what you need to do, and he was brilliant at it.
Bobby Robson was born in 1933 in Sacriston in County Durham and brought up here in the nearby pit village of Langley Park. He was one of 5 boys. His dad was a coal miner. At 15, he followed his father down the local pit, but it wouldn't be for long. Fulham came calling first, and then in 1957, as a player at West Bromwich Albion, he scored twice during a dream England debut against France. He went on to earn 20 England caps, one of them in the 9-3 rout of Scotland at Wembley when he began the scoring for Walter Winterbottom's team. But it is as a manager that we shall best remember him. In January 1968, he took over at Fulham, where as a player he'd built a rapport with the supporters.
Good header, put that dangerous man, Bobby Robson, in possession. He scored.
It was a cruel introduction, but one from which he would learn. He was sacked after just 10 months. But it was Fulham's loss. During the following 36 years at clubs across Europe, he earned a reputation as one of the finest managerial talents this country has ever produced.
Sempre gran jugadors, sempre gran treinadors.
Between 1969 and 1982, he managed Ipswich Town, a club he made fashionable. He had limited transfer funds and signed just 14 players in 13 years. But he built a stylish side that went on to beat Arsenal in the 1978 FA Cup final. Eric Gates didn't make the team that day, but Robson had taken him to the club as a 15-year-old.
He said to my parents, he said, look, he's not going in a hostel, he's not going in digs, he's not going in a hotel or anything like that. He's going to live with me and my wife Elsie and 3 teenage kids till he settles in. And look, at the time you think, well, that's great of him to do it, but over my football period, I don't know another manager that's done that.
Robson's methods were different. They worked, and the Suffolk town of Ipswich hailed its heroes. They'd seen nothing like the success Bobby Robson had brought them, and little did they know he would land them a major European trophy just 3 years later, the UEFA Cup.
I think that, from then on, that took Ipswich to another level that, I hate saying it, but they might never see them heights again. I was just privileged to be playing in a side that played good football under Bobby Robson.
Really hit him early, so don't run with it here. Hit him early, look it back.
When Ron Greenwood resigned as the England coach the following year, there was really only one choice to replace him. It may be fondly remembered now, but Robson's time at the FA was frequently tempestuous. At the World Cup in Mexico in 1986 came bitter disappointment. England faced Argentina in the quarter-finals, a game in which Diego Maradona infamously combined undisputed genius with the instincts of a common cheat. The player called this the hand of God. Robson preferred the hand of a rascal. England were out.
I think we realised that we missed an opportunity and we had something to prove, and we obviously went to Euro 88, didn't do great, but then we moved on to the World Cup in 90 and we were very close to winning the whole thing.
At Italia 90, Robson's England boasted Platt, Lineker and Pearce in their pomp, and a rather unpredictable 23-year-old Geordie called Paul Gascoigne, a raw talent and loose cannon.
He made Gazza feel 10 feet tall. You know, he made Gazza realise he was probably the best player, or possibly the best player in the world at that time. You know, Maradona was 4 years older than obviously 86, and Gazza had the potential to be the best player in the world, and that's all he ever talked to him about. You know, what a player you are, son.
Robson and England faced the old enemy West Germany in the semis. It finished 1 each after extra time, and only the cruelty of penalties kept England from the World Cup final. The team were given a hero's welcome, but tired of his treatment in the media, Robson had resigned before the tournament, quitting England for PSV Eindhoven. Beardsley remembers Robson's demeanour after the game.
Very quiet, very sort of insular, if you like, kept himself to himself, you know. I think there was almost a disbelief there.
Throughout the 90s, he managed a string of European clubs, winning titles at Eindhoven and Porto before taking Barcelona to 3 cups in a year. Eventually, he went home to Newcastle, the club he'd supported as a boy, in September 1999.
How about the age factor, Bobby? A lot of people in the last 24 hours have been mentioning this 66 years of age.
Yeah. Do you fancy a run of 100 metres? You're either 66 years old or you're 66 years young, aren't you?
He called it his last job. The club had been in free fall, but Robson took Newcastle to 3 top 5 Premier League finishes and the Champions League knockout stages. In 2004, they finished 5th, but after only 4 games of the new season, following persistent rumours of player unrest and poor discipline, Robson was sacked at the age of 71. Football was the love of Robson's life, no doubt, but he had come from a background far removed from the modern multi-millionaire player.
I think what infuriated him was he loved football so much he would do it for nothing, and he had these players who were earning a lot of money for doing something they loved and wasn't really too bothered if they're playing or not.
Robson fought cancer 5 times. Since first being diagnosed with the disease in 1992, he never lost his love of the game or his sense of humour. He loved football, and football loved him.
Came down this one morning and Brian Robson was on the phone, and Bobby came down and said to Brian, "Morning, Bobby." And Brian went, "No, you're Bobby, I'm Brian."
He always forget names. He would have a team talk and he forgot the team we're playing and stuff like that, and he used to make us giggle. And he called me Eric Sykes for 10 years.
I remember there was myself, Alan, Gary Speed, his blue chips, getting in a lift with him going up to St James's Park, and a young secretary walked in, and he went, and he said, "Love, it must be your dream, this locked in this lift with us 5 blokes." And that was Bobby. That was Bobby Robson. We couldn't stop laughing, and it's just his humour around the club was just like that. He was a funny man, and he was also very, very good at his job.
Bobby Robson was knighted for his services to the game in 2002. Few in football could match his enthusiasm and his skill as a football manager. He leaves a wife, Elsie, and 3 sons.